Oh yeah. I'm like on my side. It don't say we live. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all come on in this Thursday. Y'all favorite time of the night, 7:15. Make sure you slow down your scrolling and jump on in to More Than a Pretty Face live talk show. I am happy to be here. You know, it's my favorite day of the week, you guys. I'm excited to be back. We're getting to the end of season 2, so you just got another week with me after today, and then we're going to take a Christmas break and we'll be coming back at the beginning of the new year. There's some announcements coming, so stay tuned for those. I have a wonderful guest coming on tonight. He will be here momentarily, so if you've been watching this week and paying attention to the posts, that you know I have a guest coming on, and like I said, he will be here very shortly. Um, but to round out the week and Christmas upcoming very, very fast. It's already December 12th, you guys. I don't know how the heck we already are at the end of 2024, but here we are. It has been, I'll just recap a little bit while we wait for my guests to show up. But 2024 has been nothing short than amazing for More Than a Pretty Face live talk show. As many of you know, that have been with me on this journey. I started this podcast particularly back in the end of January, I think the very last day of January. And then I've been going now through season 2 all year long. And this show itself has allowed me to do many things. I've met a lot of great people. I've got to speak on a lot of great topics. I've got to interview a lot of great people. We've taken the show live to a live studio audience at the Brass Rail. So shout out to Brass Rail, who is one of my sponsors, and I thank them for the ability to be able to go over there and have a live audience come in, which we will be live next week at the Brass Rail. So I would love to have everybody come out that has been a part of my seasons. If you guys are available to come out live as we close out season 2, and just round out the year of the accomplishments that we've had. Also, shout out to, of course, my team over here at CMV, where we record live every Thursday. CMV Radio is the essence of what I'm doing. They have stood behind me since the day that I came over to this team, which was very quick after I started the More Than a Pretty Face live talk show. And it's just been a great journey. We have been to Atlanta this year. We've been to a lot of different places. We've networked with a lot of different people. And it's just been a great, great 2024 for me. Again, going back to 2023, which for me was a really, really tough year. This has been a really bright, shining star in my life when I really needed to recenter myself, refine my purpose. As you all know, my kids are all adults now, and I have moved on to thank you guys for joining the show. If you're here with me tonight, throw yourself in the comments. Let me know you're here. What's up, Brandon? How you doing? To everybody else, I can't see who everybody when I'm on this platform. I can't necessarily see who all is watching. So if you're here, comment and let me know that you're here with me. I'm gonna try to pull it up on Facebook. Maybe I'll be able to see you guys there, who's actually watching. But nonetheless, thank you guys for tuning in with me. But 2024 has given me the opportunity to just, like I said, recenter and refocus my purpose as my children have moved on to their adult lives and living and their purposes and doing the things that they absolutely love, right? I found myself living alone in 2023, which came very quick and unexpected, on top of a lot of things that, how you doing, Janaya? A lot of other things that had happened in our life, many ups and downs that had happened in 2023. I had my foster daughter still living with me at the time, and things were just kind of everywhere with my new granddaughter and, you know, things that my other daughter and son-in-law were going through. 2023 was just rough. And so going into 2024, trying to figure out who was Carrie, or as some of you know me, who is C-Dub outside of, right, this parenting role that I had always played, which when you're a mother, and especially a young mother, and then sometimes single mother, right? Your life focus becomes raising your children. And so for many, many years, that's what my focus was. No matter what I was going through, no matter what job I had, the center focus of what I was doing was all about providing and making sure that my kids had what they needed, right? And ensuring that hopefully I was instilling and teaching them things to live by as they grew into their adulthood and reached for the dreams that they wanted to have. And so when I found myself living alone in 2023, there was a lot of depression happening behind the scenes, even though a lot of people, even some very, very close to me, didn't really realize what I was actually going through, right? There was a lot of self-doubt. There was a lot of just really wondering what was my place in life now that I have nobody living with me. When you find yourself going from a very busy life and always having kids around and always being surrounded by people to then being by yourself, right? Compounded by the fact that I do work from home, as many of you know. And I've been doing that since COVID. So the isolation, the kids moving out, the shift in life, the grief that was happening, right? There were so many things going on. But I still had to continue on in my everyday life, even though at home I was living in a lot of darkness, a lot of sadness, and living in a lot of wonder of what was coming next, right? For my life. What was I supposed to be doing? And so this podcast allowed me an opportunity to do something to get out of that depression that I was in. It allowed me to sit down and have conversations with people and to talk about things like mental health, right? Addiction, autism awareness, homelessness. We've talked about many, many things on this platform. And it just allowed me to recenter myself and say, I have a bigger purpose than just being a mother, right? That above all will always be the best accomplishment I've ever had in life is being a mother. I've been blessed to have wonderful kids. And even though we've gone through struggles in life, I've been very blessed in that way. And I'm grateful for where me and my kids are now, but it hasn't always been easy. And the road was not easy getting here. And so the podcast just really allowed me to, again, get out in the community, find things that I felt were meaningful, but maybe not getting enough attention or people needing a platform or a voice to sit down and say, hey, this is what I do. This is what I can offer, right? This is what I do for my community. This is the awareness that I want to bring. And so I've invited and many people have reached out to be a part of this show in order to bring awareness around the issues in our community. And that has allowed me to have a different purpose in life outside of being a mom, right? And so I'm grateful for all of those reasons to have this show, to have my CMV family, to have my friends and my family that support me in doing this and show up for me week after week after week and tune in to watch my shows and to share my episodes and just to remind me that I am doing something that is worth doing, right? And even though at the end of the day, I don't do this for anybody but myself, it does make you feel good to know that something you've said has resonated with another person and made a difference in their life. And if I can only touch one person every episode, I've done my job. And so for that reason alone, I just am in a great place. And in 2024, again, has just been absolutely amazing for me. I've got to travel a lot. I've been in and out of Michigan. I've got to go to Virginia a couple times. I started the year in Florida. Like I said, we got to go to Atlanta. Atlanta was one of my favorite trips just because, and this is just overall traveling in general. Atlanta was one of my favorite trips for many reasons, but the podcast event that we went to, essentially, the reason we were there showed me that doing this podcast was me being in the right place at the right time, and having a purpose and a reason to get out here and keep doing what I'm doing. And so being in Atlanta and seeing people, normal, regular, everyday people, take something like a podcast and turn it into something global, allowed me to just say, dang, it really can happen for any of us if we just stay consistent in what we're doing. And so I'm grateful for that. And I'm just grateful that this year has been as good to me as it has been. I don't expect anything less for 2025, honestly. There's so many things in the pipeline behind the scenes for More Than a Pretty Face and Catch My Vibe Radio and the team that we have here with our artists. My boy O'Shea with his podcast. There's so many things happening over here. And like I said last week, just because you don't see us posting all day, every single day, doesn't mean we're not doing the work behind the scenes. I got some great news tonight, and all that will be talked about soon. So me and Becky always get to have these conversations behind the scene before the show airs. And it's just another reminder that what we're doing here at CMV is moving in the right direction. And we want to continue to make that shift in our community, and to be able to allow people a place and a platform to be able to do the things that they love. I've had so many people reach out to me. I've had people walk up to me at the bar. I've had people walk up to me just in public in general. And so many people want to start their own podcast. And one of the questions I always get is, what made me start my podcast? And honestly, it wasn't something that I just decided one day I was going to do. A simple interview on somebody else's podcast has led me here. But I said all that to really say, if you want to start a podcast, do it, right? There's nothing to it other than to just say, I have an idea. I have something I want to talk about, and I really want to sit down and do it. CMV is here. If you guys need support in that, definitely reach out to my team. That is something that we do offer as one of the services here. And that wasn't a plug. I'm just saying you do have the support around you. And even if you just want to shoot an episode behind the scenes and throw it on YouTube and see how it goes, you have that opportunity, right? Don't hesitate or wait for someone to give the approval for you to do it. Your audience will find you. I average a pretty decent audience and a pretty decent view on my show, and I absolutely appreciate everybody that's here. What's up, No Love? Yo shit, I'm about to cuss. Your song need to be longer, sir. I need you to get that other part together, because I need that to be longer. That be rocking out in my car, but damn it, I want to hear it like 5 times so it's long enough. But there's nothing you can't do if you just dedicate yourself to it. A word of advice before I bring my guest on. He's here, and I cannot wait to have this discussion with you guys. And I'm just super excited. I'm glad I got all you guys on here with me. Consistency is going to be your best friend in anything that you do. And if you just continue to do it and don't give up on yourself, then you will succeed in whatever it is. And so no matter what venture you decide to jump off to, no matter what age you decide to take that risk, just do it. And don't let anybody stop you from doing what you love or tell you that you're not capable of doing something that you know you want to do. Many people that succeed in life have gotten hundreds of no's before they've gotten the yes. And so don't be discouraged by other people's opinions of you. Just go out and do what you want to do. And if you want to start a podcast and you need some advice, just reach out to me. I will give you the best I got. But with no further ado, I have one of my great friends coming in. To try to find a great introduction for this person is kind of hard, but this is somebody I've known for about 5 years, I think now. He's an artist in our community. He's also somebody that works with our children in the community as well. But he's a great friend of mine, and you guys, many of you know him as our artist of Jackson, iamYP. Come to the couch with me, sir, and have a seat on this great topic of discussion tonight.
Can I drink in here?
Yes, you can bring your drink in here. I should have knew you was going to have your Stella Rosa. Let me move on over so you can get on the couch.
You know I'm kind of big body.
Come on now, don't do that.
What's up, girl?
How you doing, boo?
I'm good.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah, I'm excited. Definitely excited to be here. It feels good in here.
It is. We got it. I told y'all, just, we got to keep it cozy on the couch. We got to keep the area nice and toasty.
So my people told me I had to go live on my
on your show too, or on your page too.
On my page.
If I could have added you here, I would have, but
No,
I did
cool.
try and it would not let me because I'm not like the owner of your page, so it wouldn't let me do that.
Oh, but yeah. I see we rolling, we rocking.
Yeah, we rolling. We on the air. So anyways, you guys, welcome to the couch. iamYP, my friend Derek Potter. I don't know what you really want me to call you. I call you I call you Derek, but you don't really like that.
No, you like one of the only people that call me that.
That's because when I first met you, that's how I met you, and so
Yeah.
it's hard to like make my brain change direction. So how would you like me to address you tonight? iamYP?
Derek is fine.
Derek is fine. Okay, I got permission to say Derek, but y'all can't call him that. So just so y'all know,
It's all good. I gotta try to get the right angle, y'all, but we here.
get the right angle,
I'm
sir.
trying. Let's go live. I ain't went live in a minute.
You good?
Live in a minute, yeah.
You have to sit back to get your camera together.
Yeah,
but remember, our camera's over here, so you can't worry
so
about.
I gotta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, our camera's over here.
So I gotta go this way.
Yeah, you gotta go that way.
All right. Y'all gonna see all mouth on mine. Yeah, it's all good. Let's get to it.
All right. So, anyways, I had gotten a message about a topic of discussion that wanted to be brought to the table. Yeah. And so, in your words, do you want to tell the people what the topic was, or do you want me to tell them what the message I got was?
Go ahead.
Okay, so the message was, can you have a discussion on your show about when your love is taken for granted, how it makes you want to crash out? And this topic, as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, 2024 has been the year of crash out, right?
Yeah.
And so obviously I was like, hell yeah, let's have the conversation, but do you want to be a guest?
Yeah.
Because we have to have 2 points of opinion about this topic.
Absolutely.
And I would always want to have a male's opinion if we're going to sit down and talk something like this. And so thank you for coming to the couch with the topic and coming to discuss the topic with me. Let me just start by saying, what made you want to talk about this? Or let's rewind. I'll let you answer that first.
Well, 2 reasons. One, I wanted to talk about it because I had came up with an idea for a song entitled Crash Out. And I want to shout out my cousin Alfonso, aka AJ. I was at the studio with him and we were just kind of wrapping up some of my music that I'm dropping next year. And he played this song and I'm just like, yo, like, could you add these other elements to it? And when he did it, I took it to the studio. I let some of my close inner circle hear it. They like, yo, this is nice. And then I was just like, yo, let me go ahead and try to create something to put out, right now. And what's relevant is Crash Out, right? Like it's like back in our day, it was like go crazy or something like of that nature. Now it's crash out.
Crash out is the word of 2024.
Yeah. So I was just like, let's make this happen. And it got to plan and I got to going with it. And I started sending it out to my inner circle. And I'm just like, yo, we got to drop this. So I want to shout out my cousin AJ first. And then I thought it was a great topic because usually, as you know, most of my music is catered towards women, right? Mm-hmm. But this particular song, I catered it towards the guys and what from a guy's perspective on like, because it's usually women are the ones that, oh, this man did this, this man did that. But in this particular scenario with my song, it's talking about the man receiving what usually the woman kind of, has, whatever. Through. Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. And then obviously with your podcast and your platform, I'm like, let me just throw a small little plug and see if she can get this going as far as the Crash Out. And then you was just like, well, why don't you just come be a guest?
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a couple reasons. I mean, you bringing the topic is one, but me and you have known each other for a long time, and we've had many of these conversations with each other, which makes the conversation, I think, even a little bit easier because we do know each other, right?
Yeah.
And trust and believe when I say the conversations we have, neither one of us hold our tongue. That's the kind of friendship that we have.
For sure.
Everything is very blunt and bold and honest because when you have real friends, that's really how you're supposed to be with them. Yeah. But many people, especially when it comes to male, female friendships, relationships, whatever you want to call them, that line gets blurred a lot of times because we don't want to make a person feel a certain type of way, or we don't want them to look at us a certain type of way, right? And so sometimes those lines get blurred and we kind of cushion what we're going to say to our friends. Yeah. So with this topic, you guys, and I hope to keep you guys on for a while because we're going to allow you guys to call in and talk about this with us. Is there any situations that you want to talk about personally or anybody that you know Because I won't make you put your business out there if you don't want to. I don't care. I'll put my business out there, and I'm gonna.
Yeah.
So keep your ears to the wall. But do you have any situations that are relevant to this conversation that you really want to talk about or put out here?
So yeah, so honestly, like my inner circle knows this too. So the reasoning behind the song of me crashing out is that I was in a relationship some years ago, and the this particular person would always be the one to like go on social and try to make it seem like I wasn't the one that was ready to commit or different things like that. And lo and behold, a year or so after we broke up, like she got married to the guy that was supposed to be her quote unquote friend. He was her maintenance guy, and and all this other stuff. He used to just pop up, and one time I had pulled up and Buddy was there fixing something.
Not Buddy.
Yeah, he was fixing something. And then so in my song, I kind of talk about that. You said that this your homeboy, girl. You think I'm dumb, huh? Think I'm let you play in my face? You got the wrong one. That's what I was talking about. Like you said that's just your homeboy, but really he was the guy that you was, confiding in, and once you decided you wanted to leave, a year later after we break up, you married to this guy. But he was just your homeboy. So, and then I got a couple of my, close friends that I've had discussions with who feel the same way about, certain women that they've dealt with. So it's just, a lot of times men get the flack for this type of, scenario.
Look, I got to get real comfortable, y'all.
And so in this situation, this particular topic, like I feel like men sometimes are almost afraid to be vulnerable in most moments, so we act like it don't affect us when really, you know what I'm saying, this song I'm like being very transparent, and I'm being very just like out in the open, like nah, like this hurt me. So you know what I'm saying, so now I'm writing and then I'm telling you about it. So
and listen, anybody that knows Derek or anybody that is close to him, this is a different place for him. This is a different vulnerability. Yeah. Even being very close to him, he's not this person that really talks his emotions very loosely. He's a pretty kept to himself person. Which there's nothing wrong with that. And for a person like you, writing and having an outlet in music is awesome, because in a situation like this or in a topic like this, there is so many people that do go through this.
Yeah.
And me and you kind of talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
When you're doing something that you love and you're going through a situation like this, right? Or you have somebody in your life. When you're going through that situation, your mind's wandering and you're trying to figure out what the hell is actually happening behind the scenes, right? Because we all have an instinct to know when something just isn't right.
Yes.
We all have it. Now, whether we choose to acknowledge it and try to figure out what's happening or ignore it is on us. But we most of the time know if something isn't right.
Yeah.
But when you're going through that situation, your focus shifts away from, and I think this is part of what you talked about with yourself, your focus accidentally shifts from what you actually love doing to then trying to figure out a relationship or a situation with somebody that's not even pouring into what you love.
Nope.
And so then you're battling against, does my heart really care about this person, or is my passion deeper for what I want to do with my life? And then you're battling the two of them, right? Going back in my life, many people know that I was married and divorced after 8.5 years. And if I want to really talk about a huge example of crashing out, that whole relationship, I was crashed out. For many, many years, I was very disconnected from myself, from life, from reality. I was really just going through each day, hoping to get to the next day. And a lot of that came from somebody that didn't really support me, didn't want to see me succeed, because that meant that maybe I would find somebody else. Right. If I became a little bit too successful, and he wasn't there yet. And so that whole relationship was really me crashing out and really having to get all the way to the very, very bottom of what a crash out is. Looking in the mirror and physically not understanding or recognizing myself at all before I made a decision to say, this ain't it.
I and I and you and I have had multiple conversations as well, and I think I get a lot of flack too from my family for so long. They're always just like, "You, well, we like you to be with somebody and da da da." But I just feel like sometimes when, like I told you earlier, it's almost like you're afraid to be with someone while you're trying to accomplish certain things because you don't know if your success would make them feel smaller, or like you said, like you're a female in this industry, you're going to be around males, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are going to be nice looking, some of them are going to be, is your dude confident in himself to understand, like, this is what she loves to do, this is her business, let me play my role. And the same for me, like, I write music for women, they're going to be ugly girls, beautiful women, like all shapes and sizes that support, come to my show. Can you handle yourself in a manner that represents me, right, when I go home? And then two, are you confident enough to understand, like, this is what he loves to do? And sometimes when you're trying to chase dreams, it doesn't have to be music or podcast, but when you're trying to go after a goal, whether you're male or female, like, is it really worth having a significant other that you gotta kind of baby sometimes, or kind of cater to while you're trying to chase something? And I think for men, we're the right type of man, right? We're caterers. We want to make sure our woman is good. However, when it comes to us, like, do you guys, will you be able to give that same? Can it be reciprocated? And a lot of times, like I said earlier, men are afraid to tap into that emotional aspect of it to let a woman understand, like, yo, like, this is how I feel. And a good portion of the time, women put their feelings in it, right? And then the man just like, you know what, never mind, and then we shut down. So I just feel like with this particular topic, before a man crashes out, ladies, listen to him, right? Like, it doesn't matter how he's delivering the message. If he's yelling, let him finish yelling. If he's at a 10, let him be at a 10. If he's at a 6, 4, like, listen to him. Sometimes the volume is going to be up in your head. Turn it down to really listen to what your man's talking about. But a good time why men crash out is because we feel like our voice ain't being heard. That's just my personal opinion. So,
I don't disagree. I'll be honest. I'm the same way though. Like, listen, if I'm not being heard, I'm finna get loud, and it don't mean I'm yelling at you. It means I need you to hear what I'm saying. Like, quit interrupting. And I know women. I'll vouch for it. I've done it. Probably in conversations with you. Hell, I'm finna get my word in. But the more times you go through these scenarios, the more times you have these things happen in life, right? You start to understand what role you play in those situations. In as you mature and as you grow and as you realize that you don't want to be in a situation that is crashing you out in any manner, whether it's work, friendship, family, relationship, you tend to get to a point where you're either willing to listen and come to a level of understanding with your partner, right? And to be able to compromise, or one of you is going to crash out and walk away.
For sure.
Because it's got to be reciprocal. I think the part that causes a lot of this, and this isn't really necessarily in established relationships, but when you're dating and trying to get into relationships, when the energy isn't the same, that's what really causes this, you guys. In all honesty, if we're really being like very, very, and this is, I'm talking to myself, I'm looking at the camera. This is to myself too. When you realize that it's not reciprocal, that's not your person. Like, it's really that cut and dry. Honestly. People will give you the signs if you're willing to pay attention. And
go ahead.
I just went through a situation that was very ratchet, that was no fault of my own. But I'm going to talk about it because it's something that I could have crashed out over. However, because I've experienced different scenarios, I've met a lot of different kinds of people, this situation became comical, honestly. And very sadly, because I actually thought that this was a decent person, right? So I'm going to give you guys a very cut, dry, quick version of what happened. I was out hanging out at the bar. Yes, I go to the bar because that's what there is to do in Jackson, okay? But I had somebody approach me. wanted my phone number. We talked, had a conversation. They didn't try to go home with me that night. That was impressive to me. We're in Jackson, most ratchet nights. Somebody's trying to leave the bar with you. So this man didn't do that, right? I was like, okay, cool. He didn't really message me after the bar.
Yeah.
Cool. He asked me on a date. We went on a date, right? We went out of town. We went on a date, whatever. Fast forward, right? About 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks in, it just wasn't right. I had wrote the person off because the energy wasn't right. I knew something was off. I just didn't. Derek, no, I'm not finna go digging behind nobody to try to figure you out.
Mhm.
I don't have time. I got other stuff to do. I got grandbabies to go home and play with. Like, I'm not running behind a man trying to figure out what you're doing. So I take a lot of things and people at face value
Mhm.
because you're gonna show me who you are eventually, right? And so a few weeks in, I kind of wrote him off, but he would still message me. We would talk, have conversations. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, I get a phone call from somebody very early in the morning on Thanksgiving Day, nonetheless, which is just weird as hell, right?
Yeah.
But somebody that shouldn't be calling me about my business. And so I get this phone call and they're like, yo, I just wanted you to know, like, basically, this is what happened. And somebody basically thinks you're sleeping with their man. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not, but who is this person and who's their man, right?
Mhm.
Long story short, it was this person
Damn.
that had invited me out on a date. I had been to this man's house on plenty of occasions. He had been to my house. He's been with this woman for 7 years.
Jeez.
7 years, you guys. He had told me he was divorced for 4. Now, I have many questions about that, but I'll never ask because it's not even worth the energy.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you've been divorced 4 and been with the other girl 7. You was cheating on your wife with her. Like, I don't even know the whole story.
Mhm.
But it even gets worse because then it involves a friend of mine's boyfriend, and it's a terrible entanglement, which I just thank God it didn't get further, right? But I said all that to say, like, that shit can make somebody go crazy.
Yeah.
Because why did you waste my time?
Yeah.
Why did you waste my time, right? This is 87 days of my life that you bothered the hell out of me, basically.
You count it?
Yeah, because I know what day I met you. So I know what day this all went down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily count. I just know when shit happened. But it was a waste of not only my time, but you took it upon yourself to waste your own time.
Yeah.
And why is that part of it? Okay. Like, I don't, and men and women both do this type of shit, you guys. I'm not putting this all on men. But those kind of situations will make somebody literally want to for real crash out.
Yeah.
Because a person in the wrong state of mind could have really went and spazzed on this dude, bro. Like, I know where you live.
Like, you're gonna go crazy. Like
I know where
sitting
you
outside
stay.
his house.
You know what I'm saying? You still go to the bar that we go to here.
Yeah.
So, like, if I was really a nutty person, you know what I'm saying, or really in that position to feel like this person was really trying to play me, that crash out could look real bad for a person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you think though, like, even with like dating experience, like, do you? I don't know. Sometimes I like to play devil's advocate
Go ahead.
for men. Like, do you think like he saw you, he met you, and that he wanted to make sure, like, it, not to sound crazy, but to make sure everything was worth it first, and then say, okay, let me tell you about this, let me tell you about that, because sometimes,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Go ahead.
If that was the case,
Mm-hmm.
you should have never told me you was A, single for 4 years. B, at what point were you going to give me this information, right?
Right.
Like, at what point were you going to say, oh, by the way, like, I've been kicking it with this lady for 7 years, but, you know, I'm kind of on the way out, but I just want to make sure first. Like, at least be honest with, give me, this is what I'll say in any scenario when it comes to dating as a woman.
Okay.
Be honest with not only yourself, but with the person you're trying to be involved with, no matter what level it is you're trying to involve yourself with them. Listen, I'm going to be real bold, Facebook Live. If you just want to fuck, say that. Right? Give women and men, because there's both women out here too, give the person the opportunity to make the decision if that's what they want to do.
Correct.
Don't feed somebody this, I want a relationship, I'm hoping to have something serious and worth pursuing with somebody, to really be just wanting to have that person out in public with you, which is what I feel like happened in this situation. Like, did you just want to go out on a date and have a cute girl on your arm? Like, that's what it made me feel like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if that's what you're doing, and you're not my person if that's what you're doing, but if that's what you're doing, at least just be honest with the people you're interacting with.
I agree and disagree because I feel and guys can relate to this, and I know they're gonna be like, yeah, he right. I don't think
you just want to be right.
No, I don't think women are ready for that type of truth. Like, if a man is really trying to just do that, I personally feel like women wouldn't be ready for that. To give another example, women do the same type of thing when it comes to like how, oh boy, did you? Like, they'll say, oh, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for that. Oh yeah, being friends is cool. Like, this is okay in this space. And then the more that they're in your space and the more they're around you and the more that they see what you bring to the table, now it's like, oh, now the table has turned. Now I really want this, this, and this. And in a man's mind, it's like, wait a minute. At first, this is what we talked about. This is what we discussed. And this was what we came to an agreement on. That alone makes a man be like, okay, like, so what is really your ulterior motive? What are you really trying to go after? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that you really want? And I think women, as well as men, have to be honest. Like, if you're like, yo, like, I feel like you fit me and what I'm trying to do with my life and where I'm trying to go, then like say that as well. It's not always about the sex, right? But at the same time, women are seeing, man, they know who they'll let, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's just be real. Physical attraction is a thing. Like, if you see some,
I wish I knew who was on your stuff, because I know they out there cracking up over on your page.
So, like, let's just be real. Like, you see somebody, you like, yo, I would let, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be. However, women kind of spin the block with the honesty. They'll go around the corner and say, well, I didn't think that I would catch feelings. And then now a man is like, yo, like, what the fuck? And it won't necessarily make you crash out. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like, what is it that you really want from me? Because that's not what we discussed. You know what I'm saying?
So I'll give you I can speak on that a little bit, and we might be talking a little bit off situations, but okay. I've been in situations where the friendship has been established, right? And so the boundary has been set early. However, the behavior, and I know somebody, and I hope she's watching. She might be watching right now. When the behavior don't match the friendship that was established,
correct,
confusion starts sliding in, right?
Yes.
And this happens on both sides.
Yeah.
Where the friendship then becomes a little more friendly than just a friendship, right? And then little relationship nuggets fall in, and little behaviors start happening that are relationship behaviors, right? Yeah. And so then there's this blurred vision of, now maybe she did come into it wanting a friendship, but now she's like, well, damn, there's some relationship behavior. So is this him trying to have a relationship with me, or her saying, I'm just going to assume that he wants more, so now I'm going to act as though we're in a relationship. Yeah. And that's where a lot of confusion happens. I went through with somebody for 4 years, right? I traveled a lot for this effort. And same thing. I cut it off with him in July. December 31st that year, he was engaged to a female that was his friend for 5 years behind the scenes. Yeah. Right? And so those lines got blurred early on, but he played a role acting as though it was a little more than just a friendship, but still playing that I just want to have a friend shit. And so when that confusion comes in, some women, like a person like me who wants to be loyal, right? Yeah. I want to be loyal to somebody. I don't want to be out here and have a rotation happening. Like, I don't want to be in the rotation, nor do I want to have one. And so when you find yourself in that situation, it's easy to become loyal to somebody, even when the friendship was initially established, right? Yeah,
for sure.
And then that crash out happens. Yeah. Because then the dude's like, hold up, wait a minute. Yeah. We already decided long ago that this was only a friendship, right? And so those blurred lines get crossed because a lot of times both parties are playing some sort of role in those blurred lines crossing.
Yeah, big time. And I know for me, like, I'm guilty of, like, I don't know how to not be me. And what I mean by that is if we're dating or we're getting to know each other, there isn't a line that I will touch, I will rub, I will cater, I will do all those things, and I'm guilty of it, to make a woman want to crash out, to be like, what the fuck? Like, you're giving me all these things that I need in a man, but yet you're pulling away from me when it comes to us actually being together, right?
Mhm.
So I'm guilty of that. Like, a lot of men like myself who were raised kind of like by women to see how you're supposed to treat a woman, court a woman, do all those things. It can be used as
Look, Janaya says she's guilty of it. I know.
It can be used to, you know what I'm saying, like, harbor certain friendships, because it's like, well, wait a minute, like, I don't know anything else but to make sure that you're good, you're straight, to motivate you, to tell you like I'm proud of you, to tell you that, you know what I'm saying, hey, like, you can do this. Like, and some women don't look at it as you just encouraging them. They're like, well, damn, like, I want that to myself now. You know what I mean? So for me, I know I'm guilty of that, because that's one of the first things I always give up. I'm always giving out positivity. I'm always telling somebody, no, fuck that. Like, you can do that. You know what I mean? And that's just who I am as a person, you know?
Right.
And if somebody is with me and they see me giving that out to somebody else, they be like, well, what the fuck? Like, why are you telling her you proud of her? Or why you know what I'm saying? But that's just naturally who I am.
But see, that goes back to what we were already talking about. When you're a person that is a people person, right?
Yeah.
It's harder to find a confident partner.
Yeah.
That is truly comfortable with you being a people person.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times it takes two people that just laterally understand, like, okay, this person is a people person, I'm a people person. Okay, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much. I think social media has blurred the vision of the way people. Self-confidence is lacking.
Big time.
When it comes to relationships, there's so much like worry for a lot of people about the next person, the next cute person, the next good looking thing, right? And I talked about this, I think, a few weeks ago, one of the episodes I had, about really understanding your place in a relationship, and knowing that people are beautiful.
Yeah.
Women, men, all shapes, sizes, colors, all that. Listen, there is some fine people out here, you guys. And we're crazy as hell to think that our partners are never going to look at another person and think, damn, she hot as hell. Facts. Damn, he fine as hell, right? Facts. But so many of us are so like, oh my God, my man can't look. Like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And that causes so many problems. Yeah. And then in new relationships, it's like, oh my God, no. Like, you can't be looking at that. Yeah. When in reality, if a person is choosing you and putting forth the effort, the focus, the attention, the love, the encouragement, like, why does it matter that they see something walking by that looks good? Are they acting on it? Are they, you know, I don't know. That's a hard one for me, because people are so jealous.
Yeah, and I think it has a lot to do with not so much, like, say if you and I were together, it's not so much about me, you seeing a guy and you think he looks good, and I'm looking at him like, well, fuck, like, what does he have that I don't? Why is her attention on him? And it's a reflection of yourself. Like, sometimes you have to look in the mirror at yourself, and if you're and being honest with yourself, like, yo, like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I can't handle that interaction. Like, and I think that's where a lot of us, you know, we quote unquote want this person, but we already know certain things that come with that person. Like, we just have to be mature enough to understand, like, I'm just not mentally ready or emotionally ready to deal with a person like you, because I know what it brings. Like, yes, if somebody's first thing they're going to see you, they're going to see that you're pretty. Okay. But the next few layers is she has a podcast, what type of environment she's going to be in. She's well known.
Who's she going to be around?
Who she's going to be around. Can you handle men coming up to her while she's at the bar?
It's hard.
Her fans coming up to her, telling her how much they love the show. How much of that can you say to yourself, like, yo, like, I'm okay with that? Because she's the first thing you're seeing is her face. You're saying she's beautiful, but she has so much else after that. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of times, like, that's where we mess up at in relationships, friendships, whatever. It's like, okay, we initially see this person, they're beautiful or they're handsome, but they have layers to them. Can you handle the layers that they come with?
Ooh,
can you handle those layers? And that,
no, that's deep though. I mean, because it comes back to what does life really look like? If you're looking at the whole overall picture of life, what does it really look like living with that person? What does it really look like being in public with that person? What does it look like when shit ain't going right with that person, right? Are you willing to go through the layers of those situations? And for a lot of us, like me, listen, I've had to tell myself, and I say this in a way, and I don't want anybody to take this wrong. Sometimes it's me. Shit, I know it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's been me, but not. What I'll say about that is my intent has never been wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not ill-intended, right?
Mhm.
My behavior sometimes has not matched up with the feeling. We act on emotions a lot of times as women.
Yeah.
And so I know it has been me. But with that, almost 9 years single is something I never, ever, 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 never thought I would experience. I never thought I would be alone 9 years of my adult life, right? Now that I've been here so long,
Oh God,
it's tough to really process and digest and really, really think about life with someone for real, in my space, in my life, having to really show up for, right? Because now I got to show up for myself. Now I got to show up for somebody else. Do I have it in me to give that to somebody? In a lot of days, I feel like I am absolutely ready, right? And then there's other days that I'm like, I feel like crashing out right now because this dumb done did this to me, and I'm good on all relationships.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like for me, it's gonna take like that situation that walks in, and it's just because here's the other thing. That leaving somebody or ghosting somebody or just deciding, you're just gonna slide on out and then come back later on.
Yeah.
That type of shit is one of the most crash out situations women go through.
Yeah, I mean, and crazy that you said behaviors, because I was talking to, like, me and my homeboy was talking about this not too long ago. Me and AJ actually was talking about behaviors, right? Like childhood traumas. And that's why it's also important to know this person's history, right? Like if you don't know that this woman wasn't loved by her father or wasn't loved by, you know what I'm saying?
Why you had to put that first though, Derek? Come on now. Why you had to put that first? He said we got daddy issues, y'all.
Y'all do. So you have to understand this woman, and fellas, listen to me clear. I'm not trying to give you no type of therapy, but it's from experience on why I almost got beat up at my job by this girl one time, and you know what I'm saying, had my windows busted out or breaking into my house. That's another story. Because I tapped into a certain emotion of this woman, and I gave her that love that filled that void that her father or her mother didn't give her when she was younger. And because I wasn't aware of what I was doing at the time, I was just kind of being me and not understanding, like, yo, like once you give this woman this type of love, like if you try to pull this shit back, bro, it's going to be dangerous for you.
Right.
And when I tell you this girl crashed the fuck out on me, like she crashed out. My homeboy, if Mike Brown is watching this, he know what I'm talking about too. Because his son seen it when he was younger. This girl popped up at my job and she beat the shit out of me. I mean, punched me in my face, like, because I had gave her that love.
It ain't funny. It's not funny, guys, because like domestic violence is not funny. But I'm trying to like literally picture this shit because I crashed out on my baby daddy when I was about 19. Bad as hell in the Montgomery Ward parking lot. I shredded his car.
See?
He was not about to pull that car up out that parking lot. You feel what I'm saying?
But he probably tapped into a certain emotion of yours and gave you that love that you felt like finally, like I found somebody to actually fill that void. And it's just very, you got to be very careful, especially if you don't know like the history of the woman. That's why it's very important that you tap in and figure out, you know what I'm saying, her childhood traumas. Because if you don't, and vice versa too, like men have childhood traumas, we have childhood traumas, and don't ever take that man's emotions for weakness if he's trying to be emotional or vulnerable to you. You know what I'm saying? Like listen to that man and make sure you understand what his point of view is, because a lot of times women, y'all like to be heard more so than y'all like to listen.
I don't disagree with that.
And that makes a man crash out. And I'm not saying that, I'm not condoning cheating, But that's when that window of confiding in somebody else comes in, and that girl that's just, I'm listening. And he like, well, fuck, like if she gonna listen, and vice versa, right? Women do the same thing. So that's just my little nuggets. That's, I ain't trying to preach to nobody or get nobody no therapy, but that's just,
he is.
You know what I'm saying?
He Lolo, he is. Anybody that's listening from either side, I know y'all listen over on Derek's page. I just threw the phone number in my chat, but I'm gonna give it to you guys out loud. We definitely at least want to hear from a couple of y'all. I know y'all got some stories on here because y'all been commenting with us the whole time, so we appreciate it. But if anybody wants to call in right now with their own crash out story, we would love to hear from you.
Call in.
You guys can call 734-316-6815. It is in comments, but I'll give it to you one more time. 734-316-6815.
316-6815.
Y'all can call private if y'all want to call private. That's *67. Some of y'all youngsters might not know how to use that, but y'all definitely can call in.
*67.
*67. No, it ain't. They might want to call private.
Call in, y'all, right now. 734-316-6815. 6815.
We want to hear from y'all because I know y'all got some. I know there's somebody on this chat right now. I wish they would call in right now and just call us and talk because I know you got a story.
Call in, y'all. Let us hear y'all crazy.
I need somebody to call in because I know y'all got stories. We're not gonna put y'all on blast, but we don't got no voice changer. So if y'all calling in, we gonna know who you are.
So I talked to one of my homegirls earlier. I'm like, yo, call in. She was like, all right, I call in. So I'm gonna let her call in and tell her story. I got a homeboy too.
I hope y'all call in because this is the type of stuff I like.
Yeah.
I need to hear y'all stories because sometimes because you wonder, like for a person like me, I be wondering like, damn, is anybody like Becky will tell you, I sit here and tell them crazy stories all the time. They be like looking at me like, so I'm like, damn, am I the only one experiencing this shit? You know what I'm saying? Am I the only one going through these weird, wild, crazy excursions with people?
No, I mean it happens. It happens a lot of times, and I think for you, which I'm proud of you, is because you're transparent. A lot of people are so afraid of judgment that they don't want to be out in the open because they're so worried about what people are going to say about them, and that's why I feel like, you know what I'm saying. Even when we was talking about crashing out, like, yeah, I can laugh at my pain now. But then it wasn't like you said, like domestic violence ain't funny. Like that's not
that shit ain't funny.
But why I'm able to laugh at it now is because I seen my faults in it.
Right.
Like I gave her something that she didn't have when she was a little girl. And then me pulling that from her resorted back to her feeling like she never received love before in the first place. So that is my fault. So her emotions just kind of just went crazy, and you know what I'm saying? So, but no, you're not. I just think you're one of few who is very transparent and confident in themselves and is capable of articulating your words to make it like, it's not that I don't care, but like at this moment, we need people to be vulnerable and transparent. And I think that's what
I think if you're, I mean, because for me, like this situation that just happened is a perfect example of why I'm honest, right?
Yeah.
You don't know who or how your business is going to get put out here.
Yeah.
And so I just always say, like, I'm not going to lie about what I'm doing because, okay, say I meet somebody that there's a little bit of potential there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, but I got this dude over here. I'm still kicking it with, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep him over here because I don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, boy over here, I don't say shit to him because I'm like, I don't really know yet. So I'm going to keep you over here doing what I'm doing, but I'm going to try it out over here, right?
Yeah.
And shit starts working out.
Yeah.
And then something gets back to him, and he like, oh, no, motherfucker, we've been over here still doing this.
Yeah.
And now you busted me out, and now both of y'all gone.
Yeah.
I look crazy as hell now because I'm over here trying to be sneaky. So I've always been a person like, if I'm doing something, you're going to know. I'm just going to be honest because I want people to have the opportunity to make that choice. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's tough too, because you don't really find that in women because women like their cake and their ice cream too. Like they just do.
We do.
And with that, it's like, okay, so, but it's frowned upon when men do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? In a sense, but women do it y'all do it in a more, I don't want to call it sexy because that's going to ruin it. But y'all just do it in a more, I say it's really slick. Like how a woman would have kind of like two, and then she'll put to you like, well, if you put forth more effort, I wouldn't have to like, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, but it'd be like that, but you don't really want to do that to somebody because here's the thing. for me now at 46, going on 47, I don't want to have to put nobody in an ultimatum position either, right? And I'm very stuck on now, like, if you don't pick me and you move on because whatever, like, don't decide later that you're like, oh shit, like, she's actually my person. Because I've had that happen to me. And I'm just sitting here like, sometimes I don't, like, what is my response supposed to be? Because we might be cool and I might have cared about you at the time, but when you walked away when I actually really cared about you, that made me feel a type of way. And now that double back and that spin in the black shit for me, I don't like that. Like, that makes me feel a certain type of way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to feel about that.
But what if it gave him an opportunity to really figure out this is the plan, right? This is what I'm trying to accomplish, and now I see you do fit what I'm trying to get done. Like, what if that is the thing? Because I've had situations to where one of my
y'all not gonna call in.
I had a good friend. him and his girl spent the block because they finally figured it out. Like, okay, this is for us. They came back together, and now they're good. You know what I mean? So, I mean, yes, from your perspective, I can see that. But what if sometimes a man just needs to reevaluate everything before he takes?
If you don't communicate that, that's tough. I mean, because when you leave somebody wondering, right? When wonder comes in, what happens? I start assuming this is what happened. This might have been what happened. This could have been what happened. What the fuck actually happened?
Yeah.
And for months and sometimes even longer, you're wondering because you just don't know what happened, right? Yeah. It wasn't nothing bad that happened. You know that much.
Yeah.
Like, nothing bad happened. It just quit happening.
Yeah.
And so then when that person arrives back in your life, you're just like, okay, you just left me wondering. So what security do I have now when you left me wondering already? Right? That's an unsteady feeling for me. And maybe that's a trauma response, but it's an unsteady feeling. You know what I mean?
I think for me personally, knowing you, I think that's definitely a trauma response for you, just because I know you personally. And I think just speaking from a person who has spun the block, quote unquote, for a woman before, like it's hard to come back with really anything new that you can say to her. You just have to show her with actions. And if she gives you that opportunity to speak with your actions instead of your words, then I think you're good. However, for you, I know you, and I know that, you know, like, nah, like, why you ain't show me the first time? You know what I mean? And
I think, because it's tough for me, because I'm that person that when I care about somebody, they know. There is no doubt in that person's mind that I care because I'm actionable. I've always been that person. Anybody that I've kicked it with knows that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when that doesn't come back, and then you just kind of dissipate out of my life, like, I don't know how to accept you back and trust that you're actually here with, one, the right intentions, and that you're actually here to stay.
True.
Like, how can I feel secure in that when you kind of just left me in a world of, like, unknown? You know what I'm saying? And so it's not that I don't feel like people are deserving of second chances. It's like, how do you get to a point where you're willing to even give the second chance? You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that has to come with just you feeling like this situation fits. And that's just in my opinion. If you feel like it fits, then you'll give it a second and third chance. And I think sometimes we give a second and third and fourth chance because we're comfortable with that person.
That's what Janiyah just said.
Yeah. So, and I think that's it too. Like, I had a situation to where I was with this girl on and off for at least 4 or 5 years. And it was comfortable. It fit me. She knew my kids. I knew hers. Like, everything was just fine. Like, but were we compatible? No. Did we really have a future together? No. But we made it work because we were just comfortable.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it fits. I didn't really have to change too much. She didn't really have to change too much. And I think that's where it gets kind of uncomfortable, is like, this is something new, you know what I'm saying? And trying different things with different people. Sometimes you just, you start to build up that wall. And I feel like that's where you're at as far as your tolerance goes. Like, one and done, you out, bro. Like, I'm not even I don't care if you came back with a
Like,
you know what I'm saying, with a big
because
ring.
it's just like, man, like, because I'm really at that point in my life where it's just like, yo, if I wasn't your person the first time, just leave me be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And maybe that's like, listen, I watch a lot of damn love reality shit. You know what I'm saying? And probably jades the way I look at things. But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm special enough of a person that, like, when my person finds me, I'm not going to have to second guess that or wait for them to decide that, oh, yeah, oh, shit, I'll let go of the wrong person. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And maybe I'm just too much traumatized.
I think we all have a set of trauma to where, but I agree with what you're saying. Like, if you don't choose me the first time, but then there's that other side of it's like, no, but sometimes I have to work through things to be able to figure out if I'm even worthy to have you. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's a reflection. They might not leave you and thinking that it's you are the issue. No, sometimes it's us. And I know women hate hearing that.
Just communicate though.
But emotionally, men are not wired like that. Like, because for so long, what was we were taught? Suck it up.
Boys don't cry.
Boys don't cry.
I know. Men, I hate
you know what I'm saying? Like, be a man, suck it up. Da, da, da. Like, those things are traumatizing to us. And now to have a woman that we're trying to explain something to, which goes back to my point earlier that I made like 20 minutes ago about women not even listening. So when a man is trying, you're coming back with, instead of just listening to him, you're coming back with a response because you're listening to respond instead of listening to listen.
Right.
And that jeopardizes a man's future of trying to even guide the relationship to where it's supposed to be. And in that, not trying to throw a plug in, that makes a man crash out emotionally and be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'ma just do me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's just my opinion on it. But women have to understand men are emotionally wired differently. We were taught from a young age what we are not supposed to be doing. And one thing is crying and talking about our emotions.
And we need to get that broke.
Yeah, we're trying. And tell these people to call in. Hey, if you on my chat, call in.
I know, y'all. 734-316-6815. Y'all better call in.
How do I?
We'll never give y'all a chance.
How do I even respond to the chat?
I don't know how to do it down there.
What do I hit?
I have no idea.
What is this? Nope, that ain't that. What is this? Talk? Nope, mute it. I don't know. I think I messed up.
You should be able to comment though.
Invite friends. I can't comment. I guess I gotta wait to the end.
I mean, but dang, you should be able to comment. I mean, but they can hear us. 734-316-6815.
Can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, say put a heart on there if you can hear me.
They can hear you. Y'all been rocking with us a long time, but no. In general, I think communication, I think, is the biggest factor of why, or lack thereof, rather.
Yeah.
Is one of the biggest reasons I think these crash outs really happen in relationships. And I mean, like, let's be honest with ourselves too, you guys. It's not just relationships. We're not just talking like men, women relationships. Yeah. Friendships, this stuff happens too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go through these situations with family, friends, whatever. You can go through it with your kids. You know what I'm saying? But communication, I think, is one of the factors that we all struggle with trying to.
734-316 6815. That's 734-316.
Not you, the radio host.
6815. I appreciate all y'all tuning in. Call in that number. Tell us about y'all crash out
situation.
734-316 6815.
Oh, shoot, Becky over here doing something. Okay, girl.
Okay, Beck. Hey,
you got it on the screen. Okay.
I want to give a big shout out. Why I got a second too. I want to give a big shout out to CMV and everything that they're doing. It's a great movement. It's great to see that the city has something to offer. They are setting themselves up to do great things. Not even just in Jackson, but just all over.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and January, y'all, we got something for y'all.
I appreciate the platform. I've been knowing this girl forever, and I'm definitely proud of you for stepping into that. And what you're doing now is great. So one more time, shout out to CMV.
We appreciate crew, you.
Everything.
Yeah, man, y'all just don't. Oh shoot! Hello. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Welcome to the show. Thank you for calling in tonight with More Than a Pretty Face here with Derek, iamYP. You got a story for us? You want to tell us who you are? If not, you don't have to, but you're more than welcome to tell us who you are.
For sure, you can call me Sarah for tonight's story.
All right. We got you. All right. We're ready for you.
Okay, so first, you guys were talking about, kind of like the men lie, women lie. You should be honest. A lot of men, from my point of view, they know what women want. They know women want stability. They know how to talk that talk. I have a recent situation. I met a guy, and it's like the horror stories. That's how they all start. I met a guy. I met a guy, and he was dope. He was charismatic. He was great. He seemed like he didn't really like date too much. That he was picky. He made it sound like he had bougie dick, which was fantastic. I'm like right up my alley. I love a man that's in the behind the scenes, like me, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But it moved pretty fast. We were both kind of on the same page. We were in love. We both came to the conclusion, like, hey, like we should just get married. We should do it. In fact, he brought it up first. So we did. We decided, like, let's go ahead. Let's get married. He bought me a ring. He wanted to do it the right way. He took me to my favorite restaurant. He proposed. We had a date set. The first date, we ended up having to push it out. Because he said his tux wasn't going to be done in time. It was going to take an additional week. So I'm like, no problem. We pushed it out a little bit. When we got closer to that date, he wanted to push it out a couple months. We talked about it, and he said, like, I don't want to get married a second time. I want to do it the right way. I really love you. And let's just, like, spend this summer, getting to know each other more. And I'm with it. I'm with it when he's with it, and I'm with it when he's not, because I don't want nothing that you don't want to do.
I feel that. Ooh.
So, summer, yeah, hell yeah. So I'm like, listen, I'm not forcing nothing. A man leads. I love it when a man leads. So in the summertime, I'm noticing that he's starting, as I'm spending more time with him, intentional time, because intentional dating is so important, I noticed that he's starting to withdraw. We're not really talking about marriage at that point. So I told him, like, hey, you know what? Let's take marriage off the table for now. We don't even got to talk about it again. He seemed relieved. So I'm like, okay, so marriage isn't on the table right now. I'm just going to be engaged. I'm going to keep it at that. But he still expected me to do the other things that came with being married. He still wanted me to move out to his city, wanted to play housewife, but I told him, like, no, like that don't work for me. I'm not playing wife. So it's either we make those types of steps and then we can talk about moving at another time, whatever the case may be. So he kind of had some ill feelings towards it, but that's not my problem. Moving forward, we had a couple bumps in the road. Started getting a little disrespectful. I left. He would come crawling back within a couple hours saying he was drunk. He didn't mean nothing he was saying. I should have took those as red flags, but instead I looked at them like they was orange. I was like, you know what? Maybe he just doesn't have all the emotional maturity, but he does seem to have accountability, vulnerability, and he seems honest. So I can work with it. We get farther down the line. It's November at this point. I'm literally talking about this is real fresh. November. Now we're talking about moving. Actually, it's end of October. We're talking about moving to a new state. I had secured us a home, a fully furnished 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in Florida. And I'm like, I'm moving. You want to come with me? We can start this next chapter of our life. And he wanted to get married right before we left. He pulled out his stuff. He's like, let's get married. And I'm like, let's do it the right way. We already had a chance to do it spontaneously. Let's do it on the beach. I want to have a nice little intimate wedding. He agrees. Cool. 1 week before we're getting ready to move to Florida. Okay, you know what? Pause. Before I say that, in the beginning of this relationship, we talked about having kids. We're both in our 30s. We said we wanted one before 35. In June, we took out my IUD. I bought condoms. He didn't want to use them. Now you already know where this is going. 1 week before we're getting ready to move to Florida, I get pregnant. And I'm nervous because I had just said I don't want an accident baby. I want an intentional, I'm nutted in you, that's my woman, baby. And he wasn't nutted in me, so I didn't want to be pregnant. However, I didn't elude that to say I would kill my baby. But as soon as I told him I was pregnant, he was like, kill that baby. I don't want it. Kill it. And it just was like, it was heartbreaking. And I didn't want him to not feel heard, because I think that that's really important. Our men aren't heard enough, especially with hormones. It's hard dealing with a woman. So I did set up the appointment against my better wishes, but I couldn't go through with it. I kept telling him, like, look, we love each other. We can make it work. Like, I just bought him a truck. Like, I said, we can make it work. When you get to Florida, we're going to set you up nice. I got a job. I'm getting my master's degree. Like, we got shit in place that by the time this baby gets here, we'll be okay. And plus, we got a 5-bedroom house. But he's like, nah, I didn't sign up for this shit. I didn't sign up for 5 kids. I didn't sign up for this, da-da-da-da. So it comes the day of the appointment. He wakes up early in the morning, cooks me breakfast, asks me what I'm doing for the day. I say I'm working. He's like, so what else? I'm like, I mean, I know he's talking about the appointment, but I don't think I could do it. He goes, okay. He walks out my room. I come out my room 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. He's gone. He packed all his shit and he left. I am, crash out status. I am mind you, right before we leave, we sold all my furniture for pennies, and I had nice, expensive furniture that I didn't want to sell, but he was like, look, we got new furniture. There's no point in putting it in storage. I'm like, I agree. I'm trying to let the man lead, so I'm listening. I sold all my furniture. I took my car down that weekend before, and he left me. It's wintertime. I've got kids. It's the holidays. No car, no furniture, no man, and a baby in my stomach. And I am crash out status. Like, I'm unbelievable. Like, I couldn't believe it was happening to me. Like, I've heard of it happening to women. I just never knew it was possible for someone to be so gung-ho about unity and everything. I still can't even tell you why I think he did it, besides the fact that he had almost everything. Like, he had a woman that would have worked it out. I bought him a truck. I'm not stupid. I get my money. I don't ask for much. But I guess a kid is where he drew the line. But I didn't know that was a line, because it's not something that we had talked about. So,
well,
my moral of the story, I'll tell you this. I'm just saying, my moral of the story, you never know. You could say give it a couple years. People are constantly changing. The only thing that is totally guaranteed is if you know that someone is reciprocating your same sacrifices, is considering you when it's hard to consider you, and is choosing you on a daily. And the little red flags that people see where someone's not considering them, y'all better take them as bright fucking red.
Absolutely. Well, I first just want to say I'm very, very sorry that you have gone through that. That was hard to hear, actually. Like, my jaw hit the floor. I'm like, here, we're on camera, not just on the radio right now. My jaw literally hit the floor. So I'm very sorry to hear that. But I think your testimony, really, because that's really what you gave us, is really can be helpful to somebody else. You know what I mean? To really listen. I do have a question, really, from another viewer, though, that came in that said, I wonder how fast from first date to engagement, because timeline seems very important here. So would you mind answering that question?
Absolutely. We met in January. We became a couple, I will say, like, end of February. Well, we were dating really, like, pretty heavily in February. Really became a couple about mid-March, and he proposed on May 16th. We had a wedding date set for May 6th, or we had a wedding date set for May 22nd. We had pushed it out to August 20th and then to October 20th before I was like, yeah, let's just take marriage off the table.
Right. And you said, though, kids were... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I come from a different type of background as well. My parents are happily married for 43 years. I know it's not the same generation, but my dad only knew my mother for 3 months before he proposed to her. I feel like when some men know and they are ready, they know. That's why I said you never can tell off a timeline. Everybody is so different.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Any words of encouragement you want to offer?
I just appreciate your transparency with, calling in. Definitely prayers out to you and your family, and you continuously moving forward with what you set out to do for yourself, and understanding your crash out limits, right? Like now and you feel and you understand, like you probably understood before, but now more than ever, you understand, like you said, when people present those red flags, take them for take heed to those.
Yeah, facts. I will say, like, my grind has never slowed down or stopped. This is the first time I've ever really had to slow down to really listen to my body, listen to my mental, my emotional. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to live in that space.
That's right.
So grab on to whatever support you can. Make sure that your grind is continuous. I'm still getting my master's. I'm still doing good at my job. I'm still a phenomenal mother. I'm still making shit pop with or without a man in my life. I'll just be waiting patiently until I meet someone that's parallel on my goals and is so driven, but is still ready to be considerate because he knows that a woman will take him to the next level. And until then, I'm cool.
Absolutely. Well, girl, we appreciate you, man. Like Derek said, our prayers are with you. Keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing. You absolutely deserve the world, and I hope it shows up in many, many ways that you're unexpecting. And we'll be praying for you. If you ever need someone to talk to, message me in my inbox. I'm definitely here to talk.
Yeah, thanks for the avenue to speak. Y'all have a great night.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in.
Wow.
So
go ahead.
Just a pure example, you guys, like, just when you think your situation is one that's hard to talk about, then someone comes in with something very, very real life that they're experiencing, and that was hard to hear, man. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really expecting that. So I'm so sorry, for you going through that. We got a few more minutes, you guys. We'll stay on where Becky's probably over here like, girl, get off the air. But if there's one more person that wants to give us a quick call in before we leave for the night, man, it's been a great conversation. We probably could have a whole series of this topic with many people and many stories. But if you guys, if anybody else wants to call in, 734-316-6815 is the phone number. But man, words of encouragement.
I just think before we reach or allow people to make us reach our crash out limits, I think we have to know what our limits are. Like, I think that's very important, that your limits, and sometimes letting people down to protect your safe space is also important. Like, I always, being who I am and the family that I come from, I've always felt like I had to be a certain type of way, a certain type of person to protect my family, because that's just how the men in my family were raised to do. From my dad to my uncle, to my cousins, my brother's the same way. Like, we exert all this energy out to make sure that everybody else is good. And it's not necessarily that people don't pour back into us, but by the time that everything is said and done, like, we just have no energy or no just anything for ourselves, and I just think, moving forward, if anybody's listening to this, like, know your limits, like, know your red flags, know your just know your boundaries, set boundaries. Don't be afraid to not answer the phone. That's a big thing for me. Like, I'm always feel like I have to answer the phone.
Have to reply right now.
I have to reply right now. I have to. You don't have to. If it's gonna disrupt your mental peace and the places where God is trying to take you on a mental and emotional ride, like, take that time out. You know what I mean? And everything, what I'm saying, just because something was presented to you doesn't mean that it was a bad thing, that certain things didn't go through. Like, for this young lady that called, maybe the situation worked out best in her favor by everything happening for her now before she made that leap with that man. And then they're in that home and they're establishing rapport with the children, and then the baby comes along, and then he decides he wants to leave. Maybe this is something for her that stopped right in the act before things really got to crash out mode. Right. And so that's just my words of encouragement, man. That's what I got.
Where can they find your new song?
So I'm gonna blame Danisha for this one, and I love her to death. So we were supposed to drop the song.
Danisha.
We were supposed to drop the song tomorrow. It was supposed to be dropped tomorrow, but got some great news. We're gonna do it next week. I'm me and Koya's couch. I'm going on Koya's couch next week, and I'm not gonna tell y'all what day I'm going on Koya's couch. But when y'all know I'm going on Koya's couch, that'd be the day that I'm dropping it. You can go to my YouTube page right now. The video is on my page right now, Derek Potter Jr. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, it's iamYP Music. You can see it there. And yeah, I got content coming with O'Shea too. Shout out O'Shea. Me and him got some content we about to drop as well. So Crash Out is shout out to AJO one more time for the song. And yeah, so that's where it's at right now. But yeah, we were supposed to drop it tonight. Well, tomorrow night, Friday the 13th. But yeah, technical difficulties. But yeah, everything will be ready.
It'll be ready
next week.
The ghost decided to come visit us on our way to the end of the show.
The ghost?
Yeah, you know, the door just popped open. I don't know. Might be Cameron out there.
Yeah.
Ladies, if you're listening still, since this is kind of that type of conversation, one thing that I will say, as a person who has grown over the last few years, I feel like immensely in a lot of things. Be willing to listen to what somebody's saying to you as far as something they see in you that you're not recognizing in yourself. Be willing to hear a person out, right? I'm not a super argumentative person, but I'm always going to get my words in, and that's something that has hindered things in my life, right? So be willing when someone says, yo, like, you cool as hell, but this one thing is irritating as hell about you. You know what I'm saying? Take heed to that sometimes. We got another caller coming in, so before we go, we're going to take one more call, and then we're going to get y'all out of here for the night. Hello. How you doing tonight?
How you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing? You want to tell us what your name is and where you're calling from at all?
I'm from Jackson. I ain't gonna tell my name. I'm just trying to
all right.
comment out there for DJ.
All right. We definitely want to hear what you're talking about. Go ahead.
That's cool. Appreciate it. What's up, man? I was tapping in with my boy, man.
Yo, what's up?
Here, put it over by your microphone.
Yo, what's good?
What's up, my baby?
Nothing much. How you?
I'm just tapping in, man. I'm pretty good, man. Just tapping in, man. I'm seeing my boy tapping in, talking that shit now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
More guys to talk like this, bro.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you calling in. I think I know who this is. I appreciate you calling in, man.
You know my voice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, my guy. I appreciate you calling in, man. And I just think, we just need more transparency from us as men to help us become better with everything that we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? No matter if it's business, relationships, friendships, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be more, I think we got to be more transparent and be more vulnerable in understanding that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's, yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. Somebody got to do it, and I appreciate you for sure.
I wanted to say what's up, man. I wanted to say, man, I appreciate you doing that, man. Ain't a lot of guys speaking on their inside feelings, even though we can't speak on it like that. I like how you was breaking it down.
Yeah, man.
I like how you got your dictionary words right like
that. With that Jackson High, education that I greatly got. You know what I'm saying? They taught us a couple things. Miss Paulie taught us a couple things. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I appreciate you calling in, man, to understand, and me knowing you personally. I appreciate, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I tapped in, because I know how you is too, bro. Yeah. So I'm like, bro, listen to my dude talk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it's not a lot of guys can do that. I hate that we have to
look, somebody else calling in.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And
you know what I'm saying? It's good that we can do it, though.
Yeah, and we're going to do more of it. We got to do more of it. I think 2025 should be the year that we are expressing more, and we are being more vulnerable, and we are letting these women and our children see us in those moments, to let them know, especially our young boys, man, to let them know it's okay, son. It's okay.
You don't gotta be hard. You don't gotta be hard. You can say what you on your mind.
Yes, you can, and that's and I appreciate you too for calling in, bro. We gonna link, dog. We gonna link for sure.
Yeah, we got to, man.
Yes, sir. I like.
Podcast is, but she need to keep it going, man.
Yeah, she
I appreciate
so
you, bro.
I appreciate you. Love you, boy.
You definitely got to keep it going.
Yes, sir.
Bro, you take it easy.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right, bro.
Yeah. That's love, man. That's
there was somebody just calling in. If you're still listening, he was just calling from a 990 number. You can go ahead and call in. This will be our last caller, and then we out of here for the night. But yo, it's been a great conversation. I feel like we could have plenty of these conversations. We could probably have a whole round table about this with the whole call-in situation. So be watching for it. You know, when I get with around people that got like minds, I love the things that can be done. So if you call it, oh yep, you got something you want to talk about. So we want to hear from you. Thank you for calling back. How you doing tonight? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm good. Is my boy Derek there by chance?
Yep, he right here. He can hear you talking.
What's going on?
Hey, listen, you keep preaching facts, baby.
Yes,
all right,
sir.
Whatever you got going on tonight, I'm with it. All right, I just want to let you know I'm supporting you, and I just wanted to call in and say, hey, everything you say, your boy's got you, man.
Man,
100%.
man, you know how much I love. I know who this is. You know how much I love you, man, and I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate you tuning in, bro, and just know my heart goes out to you. You know how much I love you, dog. Like, and I appreciate everything, bro. I appreciate everything. The connection that we've grown over the years, man. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the brotherhood that we've established too, man. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, sir. And just the open and honesty, man. Hey, you just keep spitting facts. All right.
I got you, bro. I love you, man.
I love you tons. And hey, let's get a lift in soon, huh?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All
right, Brody.
Hey, keep doing your thing.
Thanks, bro.
The gospel,
appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I love it. Not they calling my show asking for Derek though. What the hell is that? No, I'm just playing.
That's my guy. That's my guy.
But we're gonna wrap it up. Becky over here giving me the side eye. She tired. She ready to go to bed, y'all. But I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all, this is how long my show used to be.
Yeah.
I used to do 90-minute episodes, and I said, damn, I'm trying to keep people here an hour and a half. That's like a whole movie almost,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I cut it down to an hour, but I appreciate y'all rocking out with us tonight. Like I said, be watching for some stuff in the works, man. This conversation ain't gonna end because there's much more things we could talk about.
Absolutely.
We could bring a whole round table together, and I'm for it. So watch for us, but more importantly, watch for iamYP's new single. Is it called Crash Out?
It's called Crash Out.
It's called Crash Out.
Featuring AJO.
Featuring AJO, y'all. It's a dope song. If you've not checked out the snippet, go check it out. But we appreciate y'all. Everything we do over here at More Than Pretty Face Live Talk Show. I love y'all. We will be back in next week to wrap up season 2, y'all. Next week is my last episode of the season. I will be live at the Brass Rail next door, 308 Prospect Street.
Doing what?
My live episode. Not show up next week and see what happens. I will see y'all in person. I will be doing the giveaway for my followers next week live as well. And I'll probably be giving away some prizes because it's payday and why the hell not? But you got to be in person to win. So I will see y'all next week. Thank you again, sir, for joining me tonight.
Absolutely.
I love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Have a safe weekend. Please no drinking and driving. Call somebody if you need a ride. And we love y'all. We out of here. Peace out.